Imagine this. You're celebrating your 10th wedding anniversary at the most luxurious restaurant in the city. Your wife excuses herself to use the restroom, but instead of coming back, she heads straight to another table, sits down with a man, and kisses him passionately right in front of you, right in front of the entire room. That was my reality 3 months ago. And what I did next, let's just say, revenge tastes best when served ice cold. If you're ready for a story that will leave you speechless, hit that subscribe button right now because you'll want to follow this channel for more shocking true tales. My name is David and I believed I was living the dream. 10 years married to Sarah, a beautiful home in the suburbs, and a successful accounting firm I had built from scratch. Sarah worked as a marketing director at a tech company, and together we looked like the couple people envied. But here's the truth about perfect lives: they often hide the darkest flaws. The warnings were there. I just refused to see them. The late nights at work that kept growing. The sudden obsession with fitness and stylish new clothes. The way she always kept her phone face down on the table. Classic warning signs I convinced myself were harmless changes. Our anniversary was meant to be special. I had booked Chateau Lauren, the kind of place where one dinner costs more than most people's rent. I wanted to surprise Sarah, to reignite the spark that had been fading between us. I arrived early in my best suit, holding a velvet box with diamond earrings I had carefully chosen for her. When Sarah walked in, she looked breathtaking, but her eyes carried something new, something cold, something far away. We ordered wine and chatted lightly about work, but the words felt unnatural, mechanical, like we were reciting lines from a play we had already performed too many times. Then Sarah stood up and excused herself. "I'll be right back, honey," she said, giving me a smile that never reached her eyes. 5 minutes passed, then 10. I started to get uneasy until I saw her reappear from the hallway. But instead of returning to me, she walked straight to a corner booth where a man sat waiting. I stared in disbelief as my wife of 10 years slid into the seat across from him. And in that moment, I knew he wasn't a stranger. Their body language gave it away. And then came the moment that shattered me. She leaned forward and kissed him. Not a gentle peck, not a slip of lips, but a long, passionate kiss that lasted long enough for half the restaurant to notice. I sat there, motionless, the diamond earrings still tucked in my jacket pocket, watching my marriage die before my eyes. Other guests were staring, murmuring. The waiter approached their table with menus, treating them like any other couple, because that's exactly what they were. My wife was on a date on our anniversary, while her husband sat 30 feet away witnessing it all unfold. I could have caused a scene, could have stormed over, shouted, tossed a drink in her face, created a scandal that would give me a brief rush of satisfaction but leave me looking like the fool. Instead, I chose something far more powerful, pulled out my phone and began recording. For the next 20 minutes, I documented everything: the intimate conversation, the hand-holding, the way she laughed at his jokes, the same laugh she once shared only with me. I captured it all in crystal clear 4K video. When they finally stood to leave together, Sarah glanced back at my table. Our eyes locked, and I saw the instant she realized she'd been caught. Her face drained of color. Her jaw dropped. The man followed her gaze and spotted me, still as a statue, holding my phone. Sarah whispered something to him, probably a lie about who I was before. She began walking toward me. But I was already on my feet, already heading for the exit. She caught me in the parking lot. "David, I can explain." "Can you?" I replied. She froze because in my expression, she saw something she hadn't expected. "It's not what it looked like," Sarah said quickly. My tone stayed calm, not because she was honest but because she knew lying was pointless. His name was Marcus. They'd been together for 8 months. She admitted she was planning to ask for a divorce after the holidays. Apparently, she wanted one more Christmas before tearing our life apart. I never meant for you to find out this way, she cried, tears streaming down her cheeks. No, I answered. You meant for me to never find out at all. She pleaded with me. Don't make a scene, don't ruin her career. Don't tell our families. She promised we could fix it, see a counselor, begin again. But what Sarah didn't grasp was this. The moment she chose to betray me on our anniversary, in public, with such cruel disrespect, she had already made her choice. Now it was my turn to make mine. I filed for divorce the very next morning. But that was only the beginning, because running an accounting firm for 10 years had taught me a lot about money, investments, and financial strategy. Had also trained me in due diligence and detailed investigation. Over the next 2 weeks, while Sarah cried for forgiveness and swore she'd cut ties with Marcus, I was busy running my own quiet inquiry. And what I uncovered changed everything. Marcus wasn't just some fling my wife stumbled into. He was her co-worker at the tech firm, a married man with 2 small children and a wife named Jennifer, who had no clue her husband was living a double life. But the situation got even more explosive depending on how you look at it. The company Sarah and Marcus worked for had strict rules about workplace romances, especially when one person held authority. Marcus was Sarah's direct boss. So their affair wasn't just betrayal, it was a clear violation of company policy that could cost them both their jobs. And she was funding her affair with our money. Money I had bled through 60-hour workweeks to earn. But the biggest bombshell came when I hired a private investigator to dig further. Sarah and Marcus weren't just sneaking around, they were plotting to start their own marketing agency using client lists and confidential data stolen from their employer. They planned to poach the biggest accounts and run a rival business. Meaning my wife wasn't just unfaithful, she was ready to commit corporate theft. Now let me be clear about something. Revenge isn't always the solution, and I don't suggest this path for everyone. But when someone betrays you so deeply, so mercilessly, sometimes fate hands you the perfect chance at justice. And I took it. First, I organized all the proof, the video from the restaurant, credit card receipts, the investigator's report, and files showing their scheme to steal clients. Then I made 4 phone calls. Call number 1, Marcus's wife, Jennifer. I met her for coffee and revealed everything. Had every right to know what her husband was doing. Call number 2, HR at Sarah and Marcus's company. I delivered the evidence of their inappropriate affair and their plan to rob the firm of business. Call number 3, the company's top clients, the very ones Sarah and Marcus aimed to steal. Gave them advance warning about the security breach. Call number 4, my divorce attorney, instructing him to pursue every cent I could legally claim, including damages for adultery and misuse of marital finances. The outcome was better than I ever imagined. Within 48 hours, both Sarah and Marcus were fired. The company launched legal action against them for attempted theft of trade secrets. Their fantasy of building a business together collapsed before it even began. Jennifer filed for divorce, draining Marcus of what little he had left after legal fees. Sarah lost her job, her lover, and half of what we'd built over a decade. The house had to be sold, and after lawyers were paid, she walked away with just enough for a small apartment deposit. But here's the best part, she still doesn't know I engineered her entire downfall. She believes it was all bad timing, terrible luck, cruel coincidence. But the truth is, There's no such thing as luck when betrayal runs this. Today, I'm freer and happier than I've been in years. My home is smaller, but my conscience is clean. When I choose, travel when I please, and never have to. Wonder if the person beside me is hiding a double life. As for Sarah, last I heard she was making lattes as a barista, sharing rent with a roommate. Sometimes karma just needs a push. And sometimes the sweetest revenge isn't anger, it's balance. If this story left you stunned, you're not alone. Hit that like button, subscribe for more unbelievable true stories, and tell me in the comments, what would you have done in my shoes? I read every response, and your story might appear in a future video. Until then, remember this: the truth always finds a way out. Justice can be beautiful,